Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and before we get into it, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. This is a video mainly about how to stylize braids, not draw them realistically. If you want to draw them realistically, obviously look at a photo reference, but this is just giving people ways how to stylize braids. So now into the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this is a tutorial on how to stylize box braids. There's a lot of tutorials on how to do like regular braids, like French braiding, but I decided I wanted to do a video on like natural hair and like black hairstyles, and I wanted to give a tutorial and give different variations that you can use in your own art. So let's get into it. So the first style of braids that we are going to be doing today are box braids, and box braids are usually when they're just singular braids, but a lot of the times we add hair extensions to make them longer. So the first way you want to start out when drawing box braids is you want to draw a line to signify the hairline, and this is going to guide you throughout most of the process on doing the box braids. So I'm going to draw a middle part on this character just because I wanted it to be that way, and we'll get into parting later. But after you draw the part you want, we're going to draw a faint line in the direction we want the braid to go, basically. So it's going to go hang down. So that is one line, it's very faint. After we do that, we're going to start actually drawing the braid. Now when I do braids, I usually draw one side and then I do the next, and it's in this one pattern. The shape is very abstract, so it's hard to explain, but you can see me doing it right here. What I do is I make a curled line on the outside and I make a slightly wavy line where that middle line we already drew is. So that is me drawing one side of the box braids. Depending on the size, you'll make them longer or chunkier. These are like more thinner braids, so I'm making them more long than I am thick. So after I complete one side all the way down, I'm going to start on the other side, and this way you want to stagger it a little bit. You don't want the end of the left side to be ending the same place where the right side is. So you can see when I'm doing the left side, when I'm making that little bump for the hair, I'm ending just above where the right side ends. That way it looks more natural. And so that is just one of many braids that we're going to draw. Even though it looks like a very tedious style, once you get the flow of it, it's very easy to do, and it's actually very calming in my opinion. Braids are a pretty cultural hairstyle for a lot of black people, and especially black women, so if you do have a black character, it might be a good idea to give them box braids. Braids also come in a variety of different lengths and colors, like weights. There's a lot of variation, and I can put some pictures up on screen now. The ones that I'm doing are the most common I've seen, but you can obviously have colored braids because you use hair extensions when making the super long braids most of the time, so it's very easy to add color without damaging your hair. You can have really chunky braids to it gives like a different style, and I think it looks nice. Or you can have cut braids where you did the really long ones but then you cut them short to make a really cute bob look. You can also have hair jewelry on your braids. A lot of people use these golden cups on the braids, or you can get like a variety of different jewelry to add some flavor and to style them as well. So I'm gonna let the rest of this time-lapse play through so y'all can see me finish out the hairstyle. So the next style we're going to be talking about is cornrows. The difference between braids and cornrows is that braids kind of hang off of your scalp while cornrows are braided directly on it. So that's why the hairline for this drawing is even more important, because you're going to have the actual shape of the head to work with. So you can see me right here. I drew the hairline, so then I know exactly where the braids are going to start and where they're going to follow the curvature of the head. So when I draw cornrows, I usually start with drawing a shape. They're a little harder to get right, so I usually start with a triangle shape. It's thinner towards the hairline and then gets thicker as it goes back, because obviously you have more hair the more you go down the head and there's less hair towards the front. So that's what you'll see me doing right now. I am just drawing the shape of how I would want the braids to fall off of the scalp. After I do that, you're going to draw the braid as normal, the same way we drew it the last time. So the thing that you want to focus on mainly when you're drawing the braids here is just how they start and stop. They're obviously going to be thinner the closer they are to the hairline, and then they're going to get a little bit thicker as you go away from the hairline. So that's something you'd want to focus on. So after you've drawn the braids on the scalp, everything else is pretty much the same as the long braids. If there's anything you might want to keep in mind for this style more than the other one, it might be the number of braids. Now when I did this drawing, I did not keep count, and there are obviously more braids on the lower side than there are on the scalp. If you're making a character design and they have cornrows, you might want to make sure you keep the number of cornrows they have on their hair in check. But other than that, you can, suspend your disbelief and add some more if you would like. Cornrows have been in the Black community for a very, very long time, and they're a very, very popular hairstyle among boys and girls. So this doesn't have to just be a style for your girl characters. This can also be a style for your boy characters, just something to keep in mind. Obviously, probably not with as many extensions and colors, but it's definitely a protective style that men use as well. The third hairstyle that we're going to be doing are plaits. Now technically plaits and braids are the same thing, but when I say plaits, I'm referring to the large jumbo braids that you see a lot of younger girls wearing. So if you have a younger character, this might be a good style to do. Mainly they're huge and they're usually no more than 10, and a common style is when you do 4 or 5. So this is what I'm going to show you right now. So when I do plaits, I usually start in this pattern. It's a little bit more simplistic. It's mainly like a curved, a little bit more jagged line, and you kind of follow the same way how you did the other braids. When you do the other side, you want to stagger it a little bit, and you continue that all the way down. Since these braids are a lot more chunky, I decide to add less detail just because I think it fits my style more, but you can obviously do the same thing as you did with long braids, just making them like bigger and thicker. So after I follow that pattern all the way down, I kind of do this little thing. I don't know what to call it, but it just gives an indication that these are braids or that the hair feeds into one another. So it's one curl line and then the other one feeding into it. So it's kind of like making a Y kind of look, but of course it's more rounded to make it look more organic. And I continue that all the way down for every single part of the plait. Now after I finish the plait, I kind of draw this rubber band. A lot of the times if you have these larger braids, you might want to secure it with a rubber band just to make sure that it doesn't get really loose. And then after that, I draw little tick marks to reflect the hair being brushed into it instead of a really hard hairline. Then I repeat one more time on the right side, and then I give an allusion to 2 more in the back. And this very last style is probably the braid most of you are most familiar with, which is the French braid. And I accidentally did not record doing the main part of this braid, which I apologize for, but it follows the same principles as literally all the other ones we've done before. The one that closely follows is the corner one. Basically, you do the same thing. You draw one line going the way that you want the braids to go, and that signifies the middle of the braid. And after that, you follow the same pattern that we've already talked about all the way down. And those are all the styles that I'm gonna go over today. I really hope this tutorial helped, and if you want another tutorial on maybe doing twists or locks, let me know. Thank you for watching. Follow me on all my social medias, and I have a Redbubble shop listed below. Thank you for watching. Bye.